an international admissions coordinator from ISARA, whose name is Nathalie Zaufaba. And then we have a student actually with us. So we're going to ask a couple of questions to them as well. It's going to be a really interactive session. So I think it's time for you to see what we have in store for you. So before anything, we are going to explain what is a European double degree, and then why you should do a European double degree in Cremona and Lyon. So this is a very peculiar program. So absolutely, there is something that you need to know about this. And then why you should choose Università Cattolica and ISARA. And then we're going to go deep into the program's peculiarities with a brief session from both Professor Lucini and Glimi. Then after that, we're going to also ask some questions about the programs and also about the general field. Then we are going to have a little bit of application procedures, so the boring part usually. And then the last but not least host is going to be Saif. So thank you very much for everybody actually for being here. And at the end, we're also gonna leave space for some Q&A. So for a Q&A session. Okay, so I think without further ado, I am going to go ahead with what a European double degree is. So it's basically integrated curriculum program, of course, with an integrated curriculum organized between two partner universities. You study in two different countries and you earn two separate degrees from two different higher education systems. In this case, Italy and France, Cremona and Lyon. So in this particular case, you are going to be awarded two degrees. One is Laurea Magistrale in Food Processing, Innovation and Tradition. And then there's going to be a Master of Science in Sustainable Food Systems, who is going to be awarded from ISARA. Okay, so it's basically two degrees in one. I mean, it's a great occasion. So now that we know what a European double degree is, this is the second thing that I wanted to get to give some awareness on. So basically, the way it functions is the first and the second semester are going to be taught in Italy, in Cremona at Università Cattolica, and then the third semester and the fourth semester are going to be taught in France, Lyon, and particularly at ISARA. We are going to go through the peculiarities of the cities, the peculiarities of the university, but I think before going anywhere, one of the things that you need to know is that this is a great combination, guys, because Italy and France are at the top when it comes to innovation, research in food technologies, in food systems. So I think out of all the places that you could try and search for programs to study, I think Italy and France together is the combination that you don't want to miss. Okay, and we're gonna see why in a couple of seconds. Well, let's start from why you should study in Italy and why you should study in Cattolica. Well, um, well, we all know Italy has great landscapes, okay, but that's not all. We also have great culture of food, and that's definitely something that, as you guys who probably are interested in studying food systems, food processing, and everything related to this field, I think it is very important that we have very a very I would say varied approach to food and to wine in particular. The landscapes are amazing as well, of course, and we're also pretty much known for made in Italy. Well, we don't really just make Ferrari, we make wonderful food as well. We make wonderful luxury items as well, yachts, watches. So yeah, We're actually pretty good at doing luxury things, and it also applies um, to food. And plus, last not, but not least, we have a welfare system, which is particularly good. It works particularly well. So while you study in Italy, you are going to experience a healthcare system and the welfare system, which is not common to experience in any other part of the world. So I think that's a plus of studying in Italy. By the way, we offer this, well, we offer programs related to each and every one of the things that I mentioned. So then why should you study at Cattolica particularly? Because we said Italy is a great place to study, but Cattolica is a great place to study too. Well, we don't. I don't know if you guys know Cattolica at all. Università Cattolica del Sacro Cuore is a really, really big non-state university, meaning we are private. Okay. We have more than 5 campuses. You have seen the campus of Cremona in the video at the beginning of our webinar. And we host more than 40,000 students in these 5 campuses. It's a big university, so this I think is very important for the for all the students who are interested in pursuing a degree at Cattolica, because that means we are, well, being private means we have a lower student to teacher ratio than public universities in Italy. And also, because we are private, we usually have higher funding to for research or to fund student services, etc. Also in Italy, being private always means that you have a, I would say, privileged connection with um, the job market and the local businesses, etc. So, and that I think connects to the second part of why you should study at Cattolica. What happens is we build a campus for each city, thinking about the businesses that are there, the communities that are there. So we opened a campus in Piacenza and Cremona for agricultural and food related subjects because they are located in the Italian food valley. So there's a lot of businesses there doing food, doing processing of food, doing logistics of food. So it's definitely a privileged position to study food in Italy. Okay. And we also try to give back to these local communities, which, you know, every year they host all of our students, international and national students from actually other cities as well. So we try to give back by hosting international students and broadening their horizons. Okay. Um, Last but not least, I would say the fact that we are private, and we have higher funding for research and everything related to that means that we have a strong academic record. So there's going to be rankings all over the place, but just make sure that you know we are top 150 in the world according to the QS World University Rankings by subject in agricultural and food related businesses, food related topics. So the subject of agriculture, forestry, etc., etc. We rank in the top 150. Um, Also, because we are that big, we have multiple schools. We have 12 different schools. So that means we have a lot of multidisciplinarities. There's programs who are born jointly among those schools, and also students, they can experience people studying from other subjects that maybe uh, in other universities which are more specialized they wouldn't find. I don't know, maybe students of economics, students of law, um, people who study food usually in very specific universities, they don't really meet that much with students who study economics. So that's something. Well, Also because we put a lot of effort into recruiting international students. We also want to keep them happy. So we created a good environment with a strong sense of welcome, a strong recognition of what you as an individual can do, and we have student support. We have student associations. We also have an international student office, which was created just for you guys, international students. And also, you can have many possibilities to go abroad at our university, because the fact that you're an international student doesn't mean you don't want to go abroad in the future. Okay. So, I was saying we were going to look at rankings. Okay. We have 45% of full and associated professors in the School of Agricultural, Food and Environmental Sciences who are ranked in the world's top 2% scientists list. This means a lot. It means that a lot of our research, a lot of our professors are the best of what they do. They do extensive research. They're really on point when it comes to the latest trends, the latest implications of this field. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. And also, um, I was mentioning the QS World University rankings by subject, but we also rank really, really high in the Shanghai ranking. It's number one in Italy in food science and technology, and in the world, we rank in the top 15, 51 to 75. So it's a really great result, and I would say it's also mainly thanks to our full and associated professors in this case. Last but not least, I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of what Cremona is as a city. So basically, we chose Cremona because it is key, as a matter of position, in the Italian food valley. There's 53,000 agricultural businesses based in Cremona and in the Cremona area. Okay, so that means you get a lot of exposure, guys. Also, we chose Cremona, and we decided to renovate a whole campus, okay, a whole monastery of the 16th century. It is now dedicated to the most up-to-date innovation of food processing. It's really, really nice. It's the one you can see in the back of my screen. Okay, this is the cloisters. It's really, really nice, and the whole campus is literally brand new. So there's state-of-the-art labs. There, the places that you can study at are brand new. So it really gives you a sense of, high quality. Um, Also, I would say that Cremona in general, as a city, we're gonna hear about the uh, the life that you can have in Cremona with Saif later on. But the life in Cremona is a more laid back life compared to others, like bigger student focused cities like Milan or Rome. You probably heard of Milan and Rome as like student cities, but they're also very like focused business cities, political cities. So there's a lot of things going on, yes, but that also means there's a lot of chaos going on. Cremona is smaller, so the experience of studying in Cremona is definitely something different, more laid back, more relaxed. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. It's full of events, anyways, even if it's not like the biggest city in Italy, because it's very culturally attractive. It is where the violins were born. So there, it's a music city. So there's a lot to do anyway. Um, but I could talk about Cremona and the campus for like hours. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give the word to Paul, who's going to present the reasons you should study in France, Lyon, and ISARA, I guess. So it's your turn, guys. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you. Thank you, Julia. So good afternoon, everyone. I am Paul de Bossé, International Relations Officer at ISARA. Thank you for your interest in the MSc Sustainable Food Systems, and thank you for attending this webinar. I will now outline why France, the city of Lyon, and ISARA are excellent choices for pursuing your studies in the food sector alongside Italy and La Cattolica. So how about France? France is recognized for the quality of its higher education system. In the 2022 Shanghai ranking, France was ranked third in the world, reflecting the high quality of teaching and facilities available to students. France is among the top host countries in the world, with nearly 450,000 international students. It's important to mention that French degrees in food processing and food engineering are highly respected internationally, enabling graduates to pursue global careers or continue with PhD level research. So students in France benefit from a world-class education. About the food industry. The food industry is definitely a key player in the French economy. Some key figures. The food industry is the largest employer in France with around 400,000 employees. There are around 15,000 companies in the sector with an annual turnover of approximately 200 billion euros. So it's quite huge. It is also a sector of extraordinary diversity. Of course, there are major groups and well-known brands such as Danone, Panzani, Bonduelle, but also many small and medium enterprises that boost the territories by their innovation capacity and the quality of the products. As for culture, of course, France is the world's leading tourist destination. You can enjoy in France a wide variety of landscape and, of course, a world-renowned cultural heritage. There are many places and sites to visit, and nearly 8,000 festivals take place each year, reflecting a vibrant spirit of celebration. Naturally, gastronomy plays a central role in French culture and is an essential part of the French way of life. I'm not sure if the slide switched. So how about Lyon? I'm not sure if you see the slide right now about Lyon, because I cannot see it. Yes, okay. So the city of Lyon is located at a very specific geographical site that makes it a beautiful city. Lyon is located at the confluence of two rivers, the Saône River and the Rhône River. The city was founded a long time ago in 43 before Christ, giving it more than 2,000 years of history. And maybe some of you may know the ancient Latin name of the city, Lugdunum. And today, Lyon is the third largest city in France after Paris and Marseille. And you may also be familiar with the famous Festival of Lights, La Fête des Lumières, which takes place every December and attracts more than 2 million visitors each year. Lyon is at the heart of one of France's strongest agri-food regions, la région Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes. The region hosts numerous food processing companies, small and medium enterprises, and innovation clusters, making it a hub for the food industry. As for education, Lyon ranks among the top 5 cities for studying in France. There are numerous renowned higher education institutions, especially in the field of science and biotechnology. As a result, the city attracts a large number of international students, so be ready to enjoy a rich and diverse experience in this multicultural environment. In Lyon, students benefit also from a highly developed transport network, and the city is ideally located. You are 2 hours from the Alpes Mountains, 2 hours from south of France and the Mediterranean Sea, 2 hours from Paris, and we are also close to Italy, Switzerland, and Germany. About gastronomy, of course, Paris is the capital of France, but Lyon is widely regarded as the French capital for gastronomy. Lyon's culinary heritage has been shaped by legendary chefs, especially Paul Bocuse, who is widely recognized as the father of modern French gastronomy. So it's important to note that studying food processing here in Lyon means learning in an environment where food quality and innovation are highly valued. About ISARA, so ISARA is a private engineering school focused on agronomy, food, environment, and sustainable food systems, operating under contract with the French Ministry of Agriculture and Food. ISARA's activities are organized around 5 pillars: higher education, providing high-level academic training; consulting, providing expertise and guidance to companies and organizations; continuing education, we do have specific programs for working professionals; research, of course; and entrepreneurship, providing support and mentoring for projects and startups. Our fields of excellence are sustainable food systems, of course, but also agroecology, innovation, and entrepreneurship. ISARA is what we call in France a grande école, but it remains a human side school with around 1,200 students and 150 staff. What does it mean? It means that this configuration ensures that students receive personalized support and close guidance throughout their studies. The support covers both academic and practical aspects, such as housing, administrative procedures, and more. In terms of pedagogy, ISARA gives a significant importance to practical experience, project-based learning, and teamwork, ensuring students develop both knowledge and applied skills. Students have access to the technological hall and a food pilot plant. They also benefit from strong connections with the professional world. As for its campus, the ISARA campus is ideally located within the city of Lyon, offering easy access to the city center, which is just 4 metro stops away. And by joining ISARA, students have the opportunity to enjoy a vibrant student life and participate in one of the school's 30 student clubs and associations. As we mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, location matters. So clearly, if your career plans involve the food industry, you are definitely in the right place. And we strongly encourage you to consider Italy and France, Università Cattolica and ISARA, for the next steps in your academic journey. Both destinations and both institutions are without a doubt inspiring places to study food-related disciplines. So that's it on my side. Thank you for your attention, and I will now let the professors talk to you more about the program itself. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, Paul, I think just to give a general idea, we're going to talk about the program and what happens in Cremona in the first year, and then with Professor Lucini, and then we're going to give the word to Professor Gnimi for what regards the year at ISARA. So, Professor Lucini, please, you can go ahead and start talking about what happens in the first year, please.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. I just moved to the... Okay. Just a very brief introduction. You can find all the details in the site. So if you wish some more info about the program or whatever, you can either write me or check in the internet site as you prefer. By the way, the philosophy of this first year is to provide the basic and more advanced skills for a food technologist. So for a person that work in the food industry with a manager perspective, so that is able to manage not only production, but also innovation and food design, also marketing aspects, also packaging, and also the whole supply chain for food production. So it's the target is a professionist, a manager professional in the food industry. This study plan has been designed together with some people from the industry. We have an advisory committee of experts from different industries, from meat science, from bakery, from confectionery, and so on. And they also helped us in order to provide some feedback about the specific skills and competencies that the food industry requires from the personnel that is expected to be hired by those companies. Well, given that, how is structured? We have a first semester in which we have the very strong base, the two pillars. One is physical chemistry and biochemistry of food, and the other one is food microbiology. You see from the credits, they are large teaching, large classes, 11 credits, 11 ECTS. Both are made by two modules and are the basis from the chemical, from the microbiological perspective in food science. Together with that, we have an additional course that is nutrition and functional food. This one has been introduced because in food design, those aspects are more and more relevant. So you are expected also to understand where the market is going to in order to design and to innovate in food science. So this first semester is the basic background. Second semester starts to be more applicative. So we have management. That is still an important point for the manager. You need technical skills, but you need also to know how to manage in the food industry. Raw materials, that means the supply chain, where we have a module that is for grains and vegetables. One is for plant-based, and the other one is for animal-based foods. Then food technology and plants, so the transformation processes in the food industry. And last but not least, quality assurance and certifications. These altogether, first and second semester, are some transdisciplinary basis in food science, regardless you are working in a company that produces pasta or cakes or processed meat, whatever. So it's designed to be as more comprehensive as possible. This teaching is not, so here you have officially classes, but consider that within each class, then you have also seminars from people of the food industry. You have also working groups. So it's a dynamic and modern way to teach. Just to give an example, I teach physical chemistry and biochemistry of food. So I normally ask some colleague from the food industry, some friends we are working with, we know very well. This manager come in our classes together with me, and they provide the perspective. For instance, one guy this year was explaining how to innovate in flavor science. The other one was explaining which are the problem in processed meat, cured meat, which are the trends. So they provide with specific and advanced information that are the feedback from the industry. So our classical teaching classes, you need to be prepared, of course, but I used to say in a modern perspective. And this is the first year. The second one is in ISARA, so my colleague Sami is going to explain you.
Thank you, Luigi. Good afternoon, everyone. We move now to the second year, which takes place at ISARA in France. To summarize, it's a very professional and project-based year. As you can see here, we have the third semester, which is based on three main modules. We have entrepreneurship and sustainable development in food industry, food processing and managerial innovation, and also core projects with food companies. So students during the third semester work on managing sustainable food operation. It could be also corporate social responsibility case studies, sustainable processing and packaging with practical labs, leadership and sustainability projects, and also some case studies with life cycle assessment. A key element here that more than 50% of the professors are senior consultants or industrial project managers in food companies. We have also 6 weeks of full-time working on sustainable food operation. That's the core project module with real industry-linked projects. That means that you don't have just theoretical lectures, but a group of students will be working with companies, with real constraints, with real data, and also with real deliverable, like an employer. Then here you have some examples of those conducted projects with food companies. Just I list a few of them. As you can see here, we can students can work with CSR strategies linked, for example, to sustainable packaging. We have some students working, for example, with methodology for calculating the carbon footprint of menus. For example, here, this the Lyon's company. We have some group of students working on R&D validation studies, for example, with etc. Company. This year we have some students working with COSAN, which is a Dutch company, on life cycle assessment of upcycled ingredients. It's about methodological development. Some other projects with related to the eco-design of packaging. So to summarize, it's not just learning sustainability as a theoretical background, but you will practice it with real cases. We have also other activities in Lyon within the third semester. We have, for example, one full day visit to Bell Group, which is a multinational cheese company, with on-site lectures and practical session on Industry 4.0. We have also some extra activity related to the visits of international exhibition in Lyon. We have, for example, Polytech international exhibition, and also we have every year food packaging international also exhibition. So students, they go there and they discuss with companies. It's also an opportunity, to, for example, to search for internships for the fourth semester. So I move now to the fourth semester, which is dedicated to the master thesis. It's in the form of 6-month internship in a research company, a research center. It could be also in a food company, consulting agencies. It could be also in research institutions. There is no restriction for the location. You can do it everywhere in the world. And as you can see here, some examples. We have some big companies like Danone, Lactalis, Bonduelle, but also you have small or even startups companies that you can conduct your internships. Knowing that in France, internships are mandatory paid. In private companies, normally it's an average of 1,000 to 1,200 euros. And the minimum wage is 650 euros if you are in a university research center, for example. During the master thesis, students have to develop a research proposal, and then you will be guided by supervisors how to develop the research methodology. And by the end, you have also to deliver a written report and an oral defense by the end of the internship. In general, this fourth semester is very, very important because it's often the bridge to the into the first job offers if you are doing, let's say, a very well internship. So that's the fourth semester. Moving now to the environment of the double degree. This slide, let's say, shows you the two things that make the student's experience and your network after graduation. First, you have the diversity of backgrounds, and then you have also the diversity of career outcomes. The first graph on your left, you can see the cohort origins. It's an international cohort from Europe, Africa, Asia, Latin America, but also sometimes North America. In practice, that means that you will learn sustainability in multicultural teams with different backgrounds and different constraints in sustainability, regulations, etc., etc. On the right, you will see here where alumni are working. About half of them are working in production, food production and quality. Then you have some of them working also in R&D, supply chain, consulting, with additional paths, for example, for NGOs and public bodies. Here, the message is this program doesn't train you just for the sustainability role. It trains you to embed sustainability inside almost all functions or key functions that actually transform the food systems. So that's about the multicultural environment and also the diversity of the careers that you will be prepared after your graduation. And thank you.
Thank you very much. Actually, I
That's
have
it
a
from
couple of
Spain.
questions for you guys. First of all, I have a question, actually two questions for Professor Lucini and Professor Gnimi. Professor Lucini, the global food system is under increasing pressure due to climate change and sustainability challenges. How does this double degree MSc prepare students to become professionals which are able to respond to these challenges and work rapidly in an evolving job market?
A very good question, because this is what actually the market is demanding. We work a lot with several local, national, and international companies, and even the local ones here, now they export basically worldwide. So the problem with the supply chain, the problem of managing the packaging for increased shelf life and export abroad, in a context of climate change, in a context of still being as green as possible, is a major challenge now in food science. How to respond? I come back to the introduction when I was explaining the first year. We believe that what food science does today, so a food scientist should know nowadays, is probably pretty different to what he will do in 5-10 years. The world is changing very fast. For that reason, we strongly believe that the teaching system should include some very strong background, transdisciplinary and strong background, because it's not just a matter of know what I have to do today, but the idea and the way this course is designed is to let the student be prepared for new challenges that probably we don't know nowadays. Very simple example, the war worldwide has changed a lot the availability of several raw materials. Companies, as a consequence, had to adapt their recipe, the way they process food and so on, and had to adapt in a very fast way and very effective, keeping quality high, keeping price effective, and so on. All these points are examples of the competencies that are requested by a food scientist. It's not something, okay, I know that I have to process 180 degrees and then it's okay. It's not that simple. To be able to innovate, to be able to follow this trend, you need to have a very, very strong multidisciplinary background. Then you also need some applicative aspects, because you need to know the whole food chain, starting from raw materials to transformation, packaging, commercialization, certification. So if you have the overview of everything, then you can respond, I think.
Thank you very much, Professor. I have a question for Professor Gnimi, actually. We are talking about sustainability policies, and that's what we talked about as well with Professor Lucini right now. But we're also talking about food systems, which are changing fast. How do you ensure the curriculum stays aligned with not only the European priorities, but also with the skills and profiles which are currently demanded by employers?
Yeah, also good questions, because sustainability is moving also very fast. And to be honest, we are working very hard to make sure that the program stays connected to the, let's say, what's happening in Europe, but also in food companies in general. So first, we have many of our sessions are taught by people who are coming from food industry. So they are, let's say, they are doing this, let's say, this work every day. We have industrial project managers. We have consultants from companies, but also in Italy, we have guests like Professor Lucini explained to, let's say, give them the applications of what they are learning. So students, they don't just hear the theory, they practice the same tools the employers expect right now. For example, here we are training them on life cycle assessment, on the eco design, on the corporate social responsibility strategy, on practical problem solvings with real deliverables like you would have, let's say, in a company. So that's the first thing. Then we don't update the programs also alone. As Professor Lucini said, we have an advisory board, both in Italy and in France. This advisory board, normally we have food companies, but also our alumni are included in those advisory boards. So they tell us very directly what's changing, the new regulations, the new reporting expectations, new skills that they look for when they recruit. And normally also we use their feedback to adjust the content, not 100%, but introducing, for example, new topics, projects, case studies. Every year, let's say, we are adapting this for the program. So the program, let's say, will stay alive. We have a continuous improvement, and it's shaped with the board or the advisory board, with companies. It's not just done by academics, let's say. And that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. So unfortunately, we are running a little bit late on the timing. So I'm gonna pass to Saif, which I think has a great experience to talk about. So Saif, I first of all, I wanted to ask you to introduce yourself, tell us where you come from, what you've studied before, what motivated you to choose this program.
Everyone. My name is Safullah, and I'm from Pakistan. Before this, I had a bachelor's in applied biological sciences and specialization in agri-food sciences. I chose this course because I wanted to become a full-fledged professional who works in a food industry. I wanted a career in food industry, but I felt like I didn't have all the skills. So I felt I wanted to become. I wanted to have more skills and more perspective from the industrial side. So that's why I chose this course.
Okay, thank you. And so, Sayed, you've had the opportunity to study in both Cremona and Lyon. We were talking about the program having two different campuses. How would you describe your experience in each city, and what differences did you notice in terms of academic environment and student life?
Yeah. First of all, let's talk about the academics. In terms of academics, the year at Cattolica, it feels very fundamental. It feels very technical in terms of understanding all kinds of topics and principles in terms of to understand like all of the supply chain of food and not only just processing. And in terms of the second year at ISARA, it's more geared towards how to run actual projects and what uh, uh, what are the difficulties and how to manage the data, the advanced technologies. So it's something that is complementing each other in a very effective way, the first and the second year.
Okay, well, thank you, Saif. Just want to have one last question. So, how do you think this program is shaping the person and professional that you want to become?
Yeah, I think I had a very, very profound and a very important experience of my life at Cattolica and at ISARA. It was very special for me, and I will always remember it in my whenever I, in my whole life, I will look back at it as something that shaped me not only as a person and not only as a professional, but also as a person. It improved me, made me better at in so many ways that
Yeah, thank you very much. So I think it's time for us to go to the last part of our presentation before we go on with the questions. So, Natalie, can you help me with this?
Yes, hi everybody. Yes, a bit more about application procedure. So applications are done online on the sosfood.au website. Application deadline is the beginning of April for this year. We do recommend though that you apply early. That way you get an answer earlier. Who is eligible to the program? So that's candidates who have a bachelor degree in food science, technology, or nutrition. Candidates with a degree in biotechnology, biological sciences, agricultural sciences, or such, you're also welcome to apply. And in case of admission, you might then be assigned some integrative readings on microbiology and food technology. And for candidates with an academic background in other fields, you need to show us that you have done at least 60 credits in food science and technology. During the master, all the classes are taught in English, so that's why we ask for B2 level, proven by an official English test like the TOEFL, the Cambridge, IELTS, or such. The documents you will be required to have for your application, of course, a resume, a copy of your bachelor degrees and your transcripts, your English test or English certificate, motivation letter, and if you have them, a recommendation letter, for example. Quick mention about the visa for those of the outside of the EU who might need one. You will have to ask the Italian embassy in your country. And of course, UNICAT and ISARA's international office will be there as a support and help with the procedure. And a quick mention about the master thesis internship, semester 4. If you do it in Europe, in the EU, outside France though, you will be eligible to the Erasmus Plus scholarship. And that's actually a good transition for our next point, the tuition fees and scholarships. So the standard tuition fee for the program is €9,050 per year. But as part of a joint initiative between La Cattolica and ISARA to support international enrollment, admitted students will benefit from a reduced tuition fee and pay only €6,400 per year. And I'll just mention two scholarship programs that Cattolica and ISARA deal more directly with. The first one is the Vinci program scholarship through the French-Italian University, where candidates can get a grant of about €1,000 for the first year. The second program is the Terra ISARA scholarship, which could grant you 25 to 50% discount on the tuition fee for year 2. How to apply to the scholarship? This is done through the application formula on the website. So whenever you apply to be a candidate to the master, you also have the possibility to apply to the scholarship. So no, ready to apply?
Yeah, well, thank you very much. So we are done with the webinar itself. Look, so is that time for a couple of questions before we leave? Natalie, do you want to go?
Yes, sure. So I just talked about the scholarships. If you go on the dedicated website, we have other links to maybe other scholarships that you might get from your own country. But those two scholarships that I mentioned are the two main ones you could get. And the program will be available next year as well.
Well, it really depends on what you've done before, as I answered. So it really depends on the kind of studies that you've done, etc. One advice I always give is just upload anything that you have, and the admissions officers usually look at what you have and tell you whether they recognize some of your credits. I would say probably, Natalie, do you agree with me on this?
Yes, sure. Give us the information and we'll tell you.
I'm not sure if he means like the opportunity to study or the opportunity to do to work later. But in the case of what kind of jobs you could get, maybe Professor Lucini can answer. Like, just give us a broad overview of what kind of jobs you can get with this.
So, Julia, just to add, yeah, I would like to say that for any specific question, I'm sure me and I'm sure also Professor Sani who coordinate the.
I can answer it if you want. Yeah. So for the opportunities after graduation in general, as I mentioned before, it's mainly in food production and quality. That's let's say need from food companies. Some of them, but few are working on the R&D also, research and development. Some of them are working also on the supply chain, specifically for sustainable supply chain. We have last 2-3 years, some of them working on consultancy agencies, mainly on sustainable, let's say, like life cycle assessment, etc., CSR. Some of them, if you are also open to for PhD position, this master degree also will open you the door to register also for PhD. But mainly, let's say they are in food companies, the main positions.
Yes, if I just can add, sorry, very, very quickly. I had the same feedback for the Italian students. The very most are in the food industry across different positions. Some of them manage supply chain, some other are in R&D, some other in quality assurance and quality certifications. Some of them even joined some public authorities. One of them recently joined the European Food Safety Agency, so has been contracted by European authority for food safety. Food science is multidisciplinary, and this means that the type of jobs you can get is pretty broad, because there are different type of food industries and different positions within the food industry. I have to say that in general, just to give you some numbers, I speak for the Italians, at least for which I have the numbers. 94% of the students get their job in the very few months after graduation. So this is a good number that I always like to advertise, because I think it's a professional. Universities have to prepare professional people, and this master degree provides, comes from the feedback of the industry, provides what is required. So I think it's good for the future, because for sure it's a good way to be prepared, and we both universities have a broad and strong connection with the industries, local and international.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Both of them. We mentioned this at the beginning. You are going to be awarded both the master's degree in food processing and the degree in sustainable food systems from ISARA. So yeah. Yeah, yeah. I think just a reminder that if you need anything from our site, there's a number, a website, and an email that you can reach out to. And well, I want to take the occasion to thank everybody involved in this session and say goodbye to everybody. And for us, people who do webinars on a regular basis, see you next year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye.